Welcome to the next part of Physics Chapter 1 Motion. Before moving ahead, we'll solve some doubts from the exercise 1D which I gave in the previous class. So the doubts are number 1 in question number 7. Let me just make it small. Okay. Find the acceleration of the body whose motion is depicted by this graph. Also, find the distance covered in 4 seconds. Okay, now what kind of graph is this? This is a velocity time graph, VT graph. And acceleration of a body is slope of VT graph. Acceleration of a body is slope of VT graph, right? Now, for finding slope of this line OA, slope of OA, we have to consider 2 points. Let's consider one point A and the other point O. Okay. Now, what are the coordinates of point A? The x coordinate is 4 and the y coordinate is 10. What are the coordinates of point O? 0, 0. So the slope is y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. So what is y2? 10. y1 0, x2 4 and x1 0. So 10 by 4, which is 5 by 2, which is 2.5 meter per second square. This is the slope of OA, that is the acceleration of the body. Also find the distance covered in 4 seconds. Now the distance covered is equal to area under the graph. Distance covered is equal to area under OA. So what is the area under OA? Area of triangle ABO, which is half into base into height, which is half into base is 4 and height is 10, which is 20 meters. So the distance covered is 20 meter and slope of OA, that is acceleration, is 2.5 meter per second square acceleration. Correct? So this is how you solve question number 7. Let's go to the next doubt. Next doubt is question number 9 and 10. Okay, next 9 questions is represent the following data graphically and interpret the motion of the body. Okay, now if you look at the values which are given here, time and distance. So you will put the time on x-axis, that is time axis, and the distance on y-axis. The time is in seconds and the distance is in meters. So what are the values? Let's put 0, 0, 2, 5. So the time is after 0 seconds, it is directly 2, then 4, and then 6 seconds, and the distance is 0, 5, and then directly 10, and then 20. Correct? So they have asked us to draw this graph. Now let me just erase this and draw a proper shape, otherwise it can be a little trouble. Yeah, this is fine. So this will be 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 0, 5, then directly 10, then directly there is no 15, okay, directly 20. So I'm writing 15 also, 20 also, and 25 also, just for the sake. So this is displacement in meters and this is time in seconds, correct? So the first point is 0, 0. The second point is 2, 5. The third point is 4, 10. If you draw a straight line, you will understand where does 4, 10, 5, 2 lies, right? And the third point is 6, 20. In 6 seconds, the body travels 20 meter distance. So this is the 6 point. And if you draw a straight line, it will not pass through the last point. So basically you cannot draw a straight line. You cannot draw a straight line. Okay. So what you can do if you cannot draw a straight line? You can draw a curve. So it will go like this and like this. So this is not a straight line, it is a curve. So displacement time graph, when a displacement time graph is not a straight line, the body is said to be covering unequal distances in equal intervals of time. That is, motion of this body is accelerated motion. Motion of this body is accelerated motion. When displacement time graph is not a straight line, the body is said to be covering unequal distances in equal intervals of time, and the motion of this body is said to be accelerated motion. Correct? So that is what you have to do here in question number 9. That's it. Let's see question number 10. That is also one doubt somebody asked me. Interpret the given graph. Also find the acceleration and the distance covered. So this is a velocity time graph. It is a velocity time graph. And whenever the velocity time graph is a straight line but declined line, you remember I called this line a line like this, a straight line like this, inclined. I will call this line declined line. So this is inclined, this is declined. Okay. Inclined means positive acceleration. Declined means negative acceleration. So we have to find acceleration and the distance covered. How to find acceleration of this declined line? Again, we can find the slope of the line. But remember, here x1, y1 will be this point. What will be x1, y1? 0, 10. 0, 10. And x2, y2 will be this point. 5, 0. Right? This is initial conditions and this is final conditions. So let us find the slope of this graph. So slope, that is equal to acceleration, which will be of course negative. Retardation is how much? It is y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. What is y2? 0. y1 10. x2 5. x1 0. So minus 10 upon 5, that is minus 2 meter per second square. Now that is acceleration. So we can say that retardation is how much? 2 meter per second square. So both are correct answers. How much is the distance covered? How can we find the distance? Distance is the area under the graph. Now, the people who are raising this doubt, I hope that you have not forgotten what I have taught. Right? I've taught this in my last class, that if you want to find distance from a VT graph, you have to find area under the graph. So distance is equal to area under the graph, which is equal to area of triangle. We can name this triangle whatever ABCPQR, that is half into base into height, which is half into base is 5 and height is 10, that is 25 meter. 25 meter is the distance, that is area under the graph. Right, so we found both acceleration as well as distance. Acceleration is minus 2 meter per second square and distance is 25 meter. So these two doubts are also solved. Correct? So you had asked me question number 7, 9 and 10 as your doubts. I checked all the homework and these were the doubts. So any other doubts, you please let me know. I will be happy to solve. If you have not solved these questions with the correct method, I would request you to do that immediately after seeing this part, so that your mistakes are clear. Okay, let's go and start with the next part. So today we are going to derive equations of motion for uniformly accelerated motion. So this is your first derivation of your life, and you are going to do this derivation with two methods. First, graphical method, and the second one is algebraic method. Right? So how to do this derivation and how to remember this derivation, that I'm going to show you. I'm going to explain to you. So your task will be to remember the steps, understand and remember the steps which I'm going to use to derive the three equations of motion. So first of all, what are the equations of motion? You see this formula sort of over here? That's first equation of motion. V is equal to U plus AT. You see the second box, S is equal to UT plus half AT square. That is the second equation of motion. And this is the third equation of motion. V square minus U square is equal to 2AS. So you will ask me, sir, what is the use of these equations? So listen to me. See, in physics, we have studied many quantities till now. The important quantities are T, that is time, S, that is displacement or distance, V, that is initial velocity, U, that is final velocity, and A, that is acceleration. How many quantities we have studied till now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when we are doing some real life examples based on motion of a body in one dimension, we have to use these quantities, one or more of these quantities in one problem, and find the missing quantity. That is how you solve a real life problem based on motion. right? So just take the first equation of motion. First equation of motion is V is equal to U plus AT. How many quantities are there? 1, 2, 3, 4 quantities. Let's look at the second equation of motion. S is equal to ut plus half at square. How many quantities are there? S, u, t and a. I will not count this t again. It is already appeared over here. So there is t, there is a, there is u and s. Again 4 quantities. Let's look at the third equation of motion. V square minus u square is equal to 2as. How many quantities are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we see over here that there are 4 quantities present in each of the formulae. So any real life examples deal with one of these 4 quantities, either VUAT or SUTA or VUAS, right? So any real life examples, if you have been given 3 quantities and you have to find the 4th one, then you have to select one formula out of these 3 and apply that formula, put the values which are given to you and find the value which is missing. That is the use of these 3 equations of motion. And because there are 5 total quantities in play, we cannot make a formula which involve all the 5 quantities, because it's possible that the 5th quantity is of no use. There are just 4 quantities which are important, out of 3 are given and 1 is missing. So you can use 1 out of these 3 equations. These are known as equations of motions. Equation of motion. Okay, remember this. So what we are doing with these equations of motion? Okay, we know the equation of motion. Now what? Let's try the numericals. No, we cannot do the numericals directly. First, your syllabus or any syllabus for that matter for your class, they teach you how to derive these equations. The derivation. The word derivation is very important here. Derivation means building an equation. Building means creating an equation. So we have to learn how to create these equations, and then only we will be able to use them. You understand? Without creating equation, you will not know how to use the equations. So let's start the derivation. So I will not just read the derivation which is given here. I will use this figure on the left side of your screen. You see the graph on the left side of the screen? I will use that graph. I will give you the information and I will derive it with you. So when I am deriving, I want you to note down that derivation after I finish. After I finish, you understand the derivation, you derive it yourself, right? So the first thing is you have to draw the graph. So pause the video and draw the graph. And whatever is written under it, please write it. Okay, done? Sure, let's start. I hope you have paused the video and done it. Okay, when I say let's start, that means the time for you to draw the graph and keep everything ready is over. Now we are going to move ahead. So what we have to do now, you see a graph in front of you. This is a velocity time graph. A velocity time graph is important to derive these equations of motion. These equations of motion you see, they can be derived using velocity time graph. And what kind of velocity time graph? The one which is given over here. So what is the meaning of this velocity time graph? Consider motion of a body moving in a straight line with increasing velocity. So what we are considering? Motion of a body moving in a straight line whose velocity is increasing. So this velocity time graph is an inclined line. That means the body is accelerating. Its speed is increasing. right? Velocity is increasing with time. Let the initial velocity of the body be u. You see this part? That is the initial velocity of the body. So the body does not start from rest. It starts from point A, and at point A, the body had some velocity, initial velocity, and let the value of that initial velocity be u. So initial velocity, I will write here, initial velocity is equal to u. This velocity, this is the velocity of the body at time is equal to 0. At time is equal to 0. The body accelerates uniformly with an acceleration a. So the acceleration is how much? A. Let the velocity of the body be v after time t. So after time is equal to t, let the final velocity be v. Let the final velocity be v. Now the velocity time graph shows certain things. The initial velocity u at time is equal to 0 is shown by the it is shown by the section OA. Do you see the section OA? This is the initial velocity. This shows initial velocity. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write here OA. Okay, acceleration is nothing but the slope of the graph. Time is t, okay, which is shown by OP or AM or NB. You see this part? I will show you again with the highlighter. OP, you see this OP? That is the time. OP is equal to AM, the horizontal line, or NB. They are all equal to each other. So the magnitude or the value of that line is equal to the time, right? And the final velocity is v, which is depicted by the section BP or PB. This one, this vertical section. This is the final velocity. If you want me to show it like this, this is the final velocity v. This is the initial velocity OA, and this here is what? It is the time. Correct? So we have time, we have initial velocity, we have final velocity, and the slope of this graph is nothing but acceleration. Okay, so we are ready to derive the first equation of motion. Which is the first equation of motion? First equation of motion is v is equal to u plus at. Let's derive this equation using this graph. So we are doing derivation of equation of motion by graphical method. Okay, so as you all know, what is acceleration? Acceleration is equal to slope of the graph. And what is slope of the graph? Slope of the graph is rise upon run. What is rise? Rise is the vertical displacement. What is vertical displacement of the graph? See, I have to find slope from A to B only. I don't have to find slope of any other graph. The graph is from A to B only. So the vertical displacement from A to B is BM. So I will write BM over here. Upon, what is the horizontal displacement? The horizontal displacement from A to B is AM. BM upon AM. So what is BM? BM, can I write BM as BP minus BP minus MP. Of course, I can write it as BP minus MP. So BP minus MP upon AM. AM. Can I write AM as OP? Yes, of course I can write it as OP. So acceleration or slope of the graph can be written as BM upon AM. Please clear your doubts here. Acceleration from the graph, how did we find it? We found it by finding 2 points on the graph. 2 points on the graph. Suppose if I took one point as B and another point as O, then I found their coordinates x and y of B and A, and I subtracted them, right? Y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1, that gave me the slope. But what is y2 minus y1? Y2 minus y1 is the vertical displacement, which is BM. And what is x2 minus x1? That is the horizontal displacement, that is AM, right? And AM is equal to OP, right? What is BP minus MP? See, I know that BP is equal to V. Okay, so in place of BP, I will write V. And what is MP? See, MP is equal to AO, which is U. MP is equal to AO, which is U, which is initial velocity. And what is OP? OP is T, right? So we found the acceleration to be V minus U upon T. So you will say, sir, this to we already know the formula for acceleration. Yes, we already knew, but we found it using a graph, right? We are deriving the equation of motion using graph. Now see what to do. Now I'll take this t to the other side, so it will become at is equal to v minus u, and I'll take u to the other side, so at plus u is equal to v, or v is equal to u plus at. V is equal to u plus at. This is the first equation of motion using graphical method. Did you understand? If you did not understand, please write down some valid questions which you actually have. If you don't have a valid question, then look at the video again. If you still don't have a valid question and still you are confused, then read in your textbook how they have solved it. But this is it. You will find this method, only this method, in all the books. This is how you derive the first equation of motion. So I think we are ready to derive the second equation of motion. Are we? Let's go ahead. Okay, for second equation of motion, we need to find the displacement of the body, because the second equation is in terms of displacement. See, the second equation starts with S. So what we need to find is the displacement of the body. And how do we find the displacement of a body from this graph? We find displacement of a body from this VT graph by finding the area under the graph. So what is the area under the graph? The area under the graph is this area, which you're looking at it here, right? And what is this area? This is the area of trapezium. This figure is nothing but a trapezium, AOPB, correct? Let's do it. Derivation of second equation, which is in front of you. Just a moment, let me make some space. Yeah, you can see the second equation. This is the second equation. Okay. So displacement, I will start by writing displacement of a body is equal to area under velocity time graph. Displacement of a body is equal to area under velocity time graph, which is equal to area of trapezium, OABP, OABP. I hope you have the figure in front of you. If you don't have the figure in front of you, please draw it. I request you. You draw this graph, please. Because this graph is going to be used. I cannot keep it in front of me. I need space. OABP. Please draw this. Yeah, let's go ahead. So area of trapezium OABP. Right? So what is the area of trapezium? Area of trapezium is half into sum of parallel sides. Half into sum of parallel sides multiplied by the distance between them, or height multiplied by height, or the distance between them. So half multiplied by, what are the parallel sides and what is their sum? The parallel sides which you see here are AO and BP. So basically we have to find the sum of AO and BP. And what is the distance between them? The distance between them is h. The distance between them is h. So what is the distance between AO and BP here? AO and BP has the distance between them as OP. OP or AM is the distance between AO and BP. Right? So I can write OP. Okay. So S is equal to half multiplied by, what is OA? If you look at your graph, OA is nothing but U. What is BP? BP is nothing but V. And what is OP? OP is T. Right? Now, what we are going to do is, see this equation. I would like to show you this equation so you will understand the justification for what I'm going to do now. The equation is S is equal to UT plus half AT square. Do you see any V over here in this equation? Any term with V final velocity? Nothing. There is no term containing V. So that means I have to remove or replace this V. So I have to put the value of V over here. Now you remember the first equation of motion? What is the first equation of motion? V is equal to U plus AT. I have the value of V. What is V equal to? U plus AT. So I'm going to substitute. In place of V, I'm going to write U plus AT. You understood what I did? I replaced V, and in the place of V, I wrote U plus AT, because in the second equation of motion, there is no V. So how do I write it again? Half multiplied by U plus AT, 2U plus AT multiplied by T. Let us multiply the whole equation by T, the numerator. So it will become 2UT plus AT square, the whole upon 2. So 2UT upon 2 plus AT square upon 2. So S is UT plus half AT square. S is equal to UT plus half AT square. Isn't that what we required? Isn't that our equation of motion, second equation of motion? Yes, it is. So we have derived the second equation of motion by using the displacement of a body as area under the graph, that is area of trapezium OABP. We just put in the values, simplified, and we got the second equation of motion in front of you. I hope you understood this. It is tricky, right? Yes, it is tricky. Of course it is. What did you think? It is easy? Absolutely not. Okay, so it is time for us to move on to the third equation of motion. So in the third equation of motion, the steps which we are going to follow are very much like the second equation of motion. See, I will show you. So for the third equation of motion, I will shift my screen over here. Let's start the third equation of motion. What is the third equation of motion? V square is equal to u square minus 2as. Let's see that. V square minus u square. V square is equal to u square plus 2as, or V square minus u square is equal to 2as. Okay. So let us again write the same thing as we did in the second equation of motion. Distance covered is equal to area under the graph. Distance covered is equal to area under the graph, right? So distance covered is S, area under the graph is area of trapezium. You have your figure in front of you, right? Area of trapezium OABP. Nothing new, the same thing which I did in the last part. So that is half into sum of parallel sides, that is OA plus BP, multiplied by the distance between them, that is OP. OA plus BP. What is OA plus BP? OA plus BP is U plus V. OA is U and BP is V. And OP, what is OP? OP is T. See, the first 3 steps or 4 steps are exactly same as the previous one, the second equation of motion, the derivation of second equation. But now things are going to change. What change are we going to make? So I want to ask you, if you look at this equation, V square minus U square is equal to 2AS. Do you see do you see S? Yes. Do you see U? Yes. V? T? No, I don't see any T. So what we are going to do here, we are going to replace T. So from where are we going to find the value of T? From equation number 1. See, I will show you. Equation 1 is V is equal to U plus AT. You remember equation 1? Yeah, so how are we going to write it? V minus U upon A is equal to T. V minus U upon A is equal to T. So this is the value of T which we derived from equation number 1. So we can write this as half into U plus V multiplied by V minus U upon T. Right? So S is equal to V plus U upon V into V minus U upon 2T. Hey, there is one mistake. There is no T, it is A. Right? So it is A. I'm sorry for that. Okay, now I'm going to shift this 2A to the other side. It will become 2AS is equal to V square minus U square. Got it? That's my third equation of motion. Simple. V square minus U square is equal to 2AS. I simply applied the algebraic identity of A plus B, A minus B in the numerator, and the denominator 2 into A shifted to the left hand side numerator, multiplied with S. 2AS is equal to V square minus U square. That's it. The second equation of motion is, the third equation of motion is derived. So that's the third equation of motion. This is the second equation of motion. And here is your first equation of motion. Right? So now again you understood everything, the method which we used for finding all these equations. First we drew a graph. Without graph you cannot derive any of these equations. So a graph such that the initial velocity of the body was u, the final velocity was v. The graph should exactly look like this. Name the graph. In exam you have to draw the graph yourself, so you better remember this. Okay, so in physics I know it is mostly concept, but without memory, your concept will not work always. So you must, in order to prove or derive certain things, you must remember certain concept. If you remember certain things, then it will be easier for you to derive. I hope it is clear. All right. So you found the first equation of motion. The second equation of motion, if you anytime in between you need to pause and write it down, please write it down. And the third equation of motion. Correct? Let's go ahead. Now, after derivation, see they have also derived over here the same way. After derivation, graphically, we have to derive the three equations again, but now this time we are going to derive it algebraically. This is the algebraic method for derivation of the equations, right? Let's start. Algebraic method is easy. There is no need of any graph. Okay, so algebraic method for derivation of equations of motion. Algebraic method for derivation of equation of motion. Number one, C. Acceleration. What is acceleration? Acceleration is change in velocity upon time, right? How can you write change in velocity? You can write it as A is equal to V minus U, change in velocity upon time. And you can simplify it as AT is equal to V minus U, or AT plus U is equal to V, or V is equal to U plus AT. What is that? That is your first equation of motion. That is so easy, right? Algebraic method. Yeah, but in school they might ask you algebraic method, they might ask you graphical method as well, and they might not tell you which method to use. So in that case, you're lucky. You can use any method, whichever you like. So you need to remember both the methods, algebraic as well as graphical. Algebraic is easy, of course. I like algebraic method. Okay, let's derive the second equation of motion. See, we know that for uniformly accelerated motion, average velocity is equal to u plus v upon 2, and this is only for uniformly accelerated motion. Also, we know that displacement is equal to average velocity multiplied by time, right? Total displacement upon total time is average velocity. So total displacement is equal to average velocity into total time. Yes, that is true. So can I write it as S is equal to V plus U upon 2 multiplied by T? Yes. Now for second equation of motion, I know that there is no use for V, so I'm going to replace V. I know V is equal to U plus AT plus U upon 2 multiplied by T. So what did I do? I replaced V, and in the place of V I wrote U plus AT. Correct? The same thing, similar thing we did in graphical method also. So this T time will be multiplied with in the numerator, Numerator will become time bracket 2u plus at the whole upon 2, which is 2ut plus at square by 2, the whole upon 2. Let's divide both the terms by 2. 2ut by 2 plus at square by 2. That is ut plus half at square. S is equal to ut plus half at square. Correct? So what is this? This is the second equation of motion derived graphically. I'm sorry, algebraically. Understood the method? First we used the formula for average velocity. Then we use the formula for displacement, which is average velocity into time. We put the values, then we replaced v by u plus at and simplified to get the second equation of motion. So we derived the first equation of motion, the second equation of motion. Let's derive the third equation of motion. Okay. For third equation of motion, I will start from the value I obtained in the second equation of motion. That is the equation itself. S is equal to ut plus half at square. I will start from this point. Now I know that in my third equation of motion, which is v square minus u square is equal to 2as, there is no space for t. Time is not there in the third equation. So I will replace t. So how will I get the value of t? See, I know that v is equal to u plus at. This is very similar how we did in graphical method. So v minus u is equal to at. So v minus u upon t, upon a is equal to t. Here we go. We got the value of t. Let's substitute this value here. So s is equal to u multiplied by v minus u upon a plus half a multiplied by v minus u upon a the whole square. So s is equal to, how do you simplify this? So you have to use a lot of algebra over here. Okay, brace yourself. Algebra is coming up. Okay, so I will write it as uv minus u square upon a plus a by 2 bracket v minus u the whole square. Actually, this big bracket is not required now. So multiplied by v minus u the whole square upon a square, right? The whole, both the terms in the numerator and denominator will get squared. Okay, this a will cut with this a square. Anything else? Nothing. Let's move ahead. uv minus u square upon a plus v minus u the whole square is v square minus 2 uv plus u square upon 2a. Now what? Now we'll take LCM. So here it will be 2 and here it will be 1. Now 2 will get multiplied in the numerator. So 2uv minus 2u square plus v square minus 2uv plus u square upon 2a. We have taken LCM, so the denominator becomes common. 2uv minus 2uv will cut. 2a will shift to the left side and will become 2as. Here minus 2u square plus u square will become minus u square. So v square minus u square is equal to 2as. That's the third equation of motion. So those who are not good with mathematics, algebra, they are going to face their nightmare over here, because they will see that mathematics is coming to them in physics to get them. So if you're not good at mathematics, if you don't like mathematics, it's a bad news for you. Physics has a lot of it, but you can't escape. You have to do physics, right? So why not make friends with it? Why not understand each and every method, right? Understand each and every step which I have discussed. Go through the video again and again. Pause it, note it down. Try to understand both the methods, algebraic as well as graphical. So I have derived both the equations of motion. Now let's see what lies ahead. Okay, before we go ahead, three equations of motions are derived. You have to now remember some problem solving tactics. Let's go to the problem solving tactics. So remember, now onwards in this chapter, for this particular part, you are going to encounter a lot of word problems. And all these word problems, they come with certain hints. Okay, some certain terms, some sentences or phrases. Those phrases have specific meanings. So what are the meanings? You have to focus on them. Let's see the first one. When a body starts from rest, suppose this is the term which is given to you, body starts from rest, that means initial velocity is 0. A body finally stops. If they mention this statement or phrase in the question, that means final velocity is 0, body finally stops. A body is dropped, that means initial velocity is 0. Whenever a body is dropped from a certain height, it does not have any initial velocity, its velocity starts increasing. A body is dropped and finally reaches ground. By this, it is wrong to interpret that v is 0. We are generally interested in the velocity that is just before the body strikes the ground. So final velocity does not become 0 when the body reaches the ground. When the body reaches the ground, the final velocity is maximum. Okay. Use these equations with positive sign of acceleration when speed of the body increases and negative sign of acceleration when the speed of body decreases. We know that already. SI unit of velocity is meter per second, time is second, then acceleration's SI unit is meter per second square. And we know how to convert from kilometer per hour to meter per second square, don't we? Suppose a physical quantity has a value 0, then try to use those equation of motion which involve this physical quantity. By doing so, one term will become 0 and this will reduce the mathematical calculation. Your equation will become simplified. So these are some tips they have given to you, tactics which you can use while solving some word problems. So let's start with the solved examples. This is the first solved example. First question. A bus accelerates uniformly from 18 km per hour from 18 km per hour. So what is this 18 km per hour? It is the initial velocity, 18 km per hour to 36 km per hour. What is this 36 km per hour? Final velocity in 10 seconds. What is the time? 10 seconds. Calculate the acceleration. So the first thing which we notice is the unit for velocity is kilometer per hour and the unit for time is seconds. We cannot proceed like this. So first we need to convert the velocity from kilometer per hour to meter per second. So it will become 18 into 5 by 18 meter per second and 36 into 5 by 18 meter per second. So here 18 will cut. 18 2s are 36. So this will become 5 meter per second. You remember, right? For converting from kilometer per hour to meter per second, we have to multiply any speed by 5 by 18. So 5 meter per second, and here it will be 10 meter per second. So we know initial velocity, final velocity, time, and we have to find acceleration. These four quantities are related to which equation of motion? Again, if you don't remember the equation of motion, it's a problem. So V is equal to U plus AT, V square minus U square is equal to 2AS, and S is equal to UT plus half AT square. Out of these three equations, which equations should we use here? Of course, we cannot use this because we don't have displacement. This also we cannot use, we don't have displacement. We have to use this first equation of motion. So V is equal to U plus AT. So V is 10 meter per second, U is 5 meter per second, acceleration we don't know, and time is 10 seconds. So 10 minus 5 is equal to 10A. So 5 is equal to 10A, and 5 by 10 is equal to A, and therefore acceleration is 0.5 meter per second square. Acceleration is 0.5 meter per second square. Understood? Let's check the answer. Correct? Let's go ahead. Let's create some space first. Okay, a bus is moving with a speed of 18 kilometer per hour. Now see, you must be very well versed with grammar. A bus is moving. I'm sorry about that. What do you mean by is moving? I'm sorry. I don't know what is happening. Just a moment. Yes. Tell me, what do you mean by is moving? When you say is moving, that means it is happening right now, right? With a speed of 18 kilometer per hour. If it comes to rest in 3 seconds, if it comes to rest in 3 seconds means after 3 seconds. Okay, so we can say that initial velocity is 18 kilometer per hour and time is 3 seconds, and it comes to rest. See, again, one more word, rest. Rest means final velocity is 0 meter per second. Now you must be wondering, why did I write meter per second? Because I saw time was in seconds and initial speed, initial velocity was in kilometer per hour. I will convert it into meter per second by multiplying it with 5 by 18. So this will become 5 meter per second. Cool. So we have got initial velocity, time, and final velocity. Find the retardation, assuming it to be uniform. We have to find the acceleration. Of course, it will be negative. So we will use the equation, first equation of motion, V is equal to U plus AT. Now some people might have this question that why can't we use this formula A is equal to V minus U upon T? Let me tell you, this is the same formula. Okay, same formula, but we are going to use now in this format, that is the equation of motion. Okay, so always remember that rather than using the formula, use the equation of motion, because that opens up new possibilities for difficult questions, complicated questions, right, where other quantities are involved. So 0 is equal to 5 plus a multiplied by 3. So minus 5 is equal to 3a. So a is equal to minus 5 by 3. Okay, minus 5 by 3 is 1.67, minus 1.67 meter per second square. That is your retardation. because it is negative in nature. That's why it is known as retardation. Okay, so retardation, you will write the final answer like this: retardation is equal to 1.67 meter per second square. When you use the word retardation, no negative sign is required. Correct? Very easy. Let's go to the next question. A car attains a velocity of 36 km per hour after accelerating uniformly from rest in 5 seconds. So many information, so much of information they have provided here. Attains means, what do you mean by attain? Attains means final velocity. So final velocity is 36 km per hour. Instantly I will convert it into meter per second. Right? 10 meter per second. Okay. Accelerating uniformly from rest. What do you mean by from rest? The initial velocity will be 0 meter per second in 5 seconds. So time will be 5 seconds. Find the distance traveled. They have asked us about the distance traveled. So if we want to find the distance traveled, there are only two options. Either we can use S is equal to ut plus half at square, or we can use v square minus u square is equal to 2as. See, in both the cases, you will require acceleration, right? Without acceleration, you cannot find displacement, because A is there in both the equations and A is not known to you. So let's use the first equation of motion and find the acceleration. So V is equal to U plus AT. What is V? V is 10. What is U? 0. What is acceleration? A? We don't know. What is T? 5. So 5A is equal to 10. So A is equal to 2 meter per second square. This is the acceleration. Now we have got the acceleration. We can use any of the given two formula, equation 2 of the motion, or equation 3, and find the displacement. Let's use the second equation of motion. S is equal to ut plus half at square. So S is equal to, what is U? 0. What is T? 5 plus half into, what is A? Acceleration 2 meter per second square. What is time? Time is 5. So 5 square. So S is equal to 0 plus this 2 and 2 will cut and this will become 25. Therefore S is equal to 25 meter. Right? Displacement is equal to 25 meter. So this is the displacement or distance traveled. Let's check the answer. I hope you understood the method. First they have found the acceleration and then the displacement. Right? Let's go ahead. A car accelerates uniformly at the rate of 2 meter per second square after starting from rest. So initial velocity here is 0 meter per second. Acceleration is 2 meter per second square. Find the distance traveled and the velocity attained in 4 seconds. Correct? So more than two equations of motion are to be used because all the 5 quantities are involved. U, A, S, V and T. Everything is involved. So first what we are going to do? Since we know U, A and T, we can use the first equation of motion and find V. So V is equal to U plus AT. So V is equal to 0 plus A is 2 multiplied by time is 4 So v is equal to 8 meter per second. Final velocity is 8 meter per second. Now we can find the displacement. So s is equal to ut plus half at square ut. So 0 into time is 4 plus half into a is 2 into time square is 4 square. 2 will cut. So s is equal to 16 meter. Right? So the body will cover a distance of 16 meter and attain a velocity of 8 meter per second in 4 seconds. We use two equations of motion. Equation number 1, equation number 2. So some people might have this question that can't we use the third equation of motion? Of course you can. You are free to use any equation of motion you want to. Only thing, the method should be correct and you should get the correct answer. Calculation should be correct. Let's check the answer. 8 meter per second is the final velocity and the displacement is 16 meter. A car is moving at a speed of 18 kilometer per hour. Okay, so initial velocity is 18 kilometer per hour, which is 18 multiplied by 5 by 18, that is 5 meter per second. It starts retarding uniformly at 1 meter per second square. Retarding. Remember the word retarding. So acceleration is minus 1 meter per second square. Okay, and comes to rest, means final velocity is 0 meter per second. Find the distance traveled, s. You have to find s. Very easy. We know that u, a, v and s are only involved. The equation of motion will be third. V square minus u square is equal to 2as. Okay, so what is v? 0 minus u is 5 square is equal to 2 multiplied by acceleration is minus 1. Okay, I'm putting the value with its sign. Okay, please remember that. Multiplied by s, 2as. So minus 5 square, it will be minus 25. 0 minus 25 is minus 25. Okay, and this will be minus 2 multiplied by s. So s is equal to minus 25 upon minus 2, that is 12.5 meter. The car will cover a distance of 12.5 meter before coming to rest. 12.5 meter. Correct? I hope you are understanding the method and everything. If you have any doubts, you can anytime message me and I'll be happy to help you. See, I'm giving you some extra practice also, and some students are also asking me doubts from that extra assignment. Now that I do not consider as urgent, because the chapter is already over and that's some extra practice which you are doing. So that can be cleared at any time, but this is important because this is your main homework. This is not extra homework. Without this, your chapter will not be finished. So main homework doubts will be covered instantly. A motorcycle starts from rest. So initial velocity is 0 meter per second and uniformly accelerates at 1 meter per second square. So acceleration is 1 meter per second square. Find the distance traveled, s, in third second. Oh, find the distance traveled in third second. Distance traveled in third second. See, for this you need to find the distance traveled in 4 seconds minus distance traveled in 3 seconds. Right? So distance traveled in 4 seconds minus distance traveled in 3 seconds is equal to distance traveled in third second. Correct? So we know the initial velocity 0 meter per second, acceleration is 1 meter per second square, and we know two times. Time 1 is 3 seconds and time 2 is 4 seconds. So we know time, we know initial velocity, and we know acceleration. Can we find the displacement? Yes, we can. I'll show you how. So case 1. In case 1, the initial velocity is 0 meter per second. The acceleration is 1 meter per second square. And the time is 3 seconds. And we have to find the displacement after 3 seconds. Right? The displacement after 3 seconds will be S is equal to ut plus half at square. We can use this formula. So S3, I will write here S3 is equal to U, 0 time 3 plus half into 1 into 3 square. So S3 will be 9 by 2, that is 4.5 meter. Displacement will be 4.5 meter. This is the displacement in 3 seconds. Now we'll find the displacement in 4 seconds. Same way. Case 2. Initial velocity 0 meter per second. Acceleration 1 meter per second square. Time 4 seconds. And the displacement S4 is unknown. So S4 is equal to ut plus half at square. Second equation of motion. So that is 0 multiplied by 4 plus half multiplied by 1 into t square, that is 4 square. So S4 is equal to 16 by 2, that is 8 meter. So the body travels 8 meter in 4 seconds and it travels 4.5 meter in 3 seconds. Body travels 8 meter in 4 seconds and 4.5 meter in 3 seconds. So therefore distance covered in third second is equal to distance covered in 4 seconds minus distance covered in 3 seconds, that is 8 minus 4.5, that is 3.5 meter. The body covers 3.5 meters in the third second. Right? Let's check the answer. Yes, S3 is 4.5. Okay, so there is one tiny mistake which I made. Distance traveled in third second, they have taken as distance traveled in 3 seconds minus distance traveled in 2 seconds. So by mistake, I found distance traveled in the fourth second. Yes, because after third second, there comes fourth second, and this time interval is the fourth second's time interval. Fourth second. But don't worry much about this problem. Very few problems are like this in your exercise or your textbook, and to be asked in the exam, they don't ask these kind of questions. Still, we learned something, that if we want to find the distance traveled in third second, so you have to subtract S3 minus S2. I did S4 minus S3. So that was my mistake. I hope you learn from my mistake now. So this part is over, and there is this exercise which I'm going to give it to you. Okay, the next part which is there, and it is the last part of the chapter, it is uniform circular motion. So this part I'm going to cover in the next video. Why? Because In the next video also you are going to raise some doubts. With those doubt solving, this part will be covered, the numericals of this part will be covered, and this chapter will be over. So very soon we are going to have the last lecture for this chapter, first chapter of physics. It was a very long chapter. We took a lot of time for it, but it was worth it. We covered each and every topic in detail, and we understood everything. I hope so. Right? So I'm going to give you the exercise as homework, and see you later in the next video. Bye bye.